I come and go like a rah. They don't want the two be going nah. I'm coming back with the money in the bag. The roof is in my lap, yeah, I'm running for the bag. I come and go like a round. Put it in the world, way behind.
Somebody's trying to kill you.
Still dropping on the load.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're out here with a relatively new shooter. This is my friend Brittany.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, she basically doesn't have a ton of shooting experience, so what is your shooting experience?
Very little. I would say probably only went shooting twice, and just once was just in the past year.
Okay, so not a ton, but she's interested in getting a firearm, so why is that?
For home self-defense.
Right. So primarily, again, like she said, for home defense. Now, people in her family, friends, colleagues have suggested to her a ton of different stuff, from shotguns to really small, cute guns, to other options out there, Glocks, Springfields, I think we said. So we kind of brought out sort of a wide assortment of different firearms here, and we're not going to be doing too much distance shooting because, again, it's focused on self-defense. And we're just going to walk her through the process of trying a few guns out, proper grip, proper technique, stuff like that, and take you guys along for the ride. So you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Good. All right, stop for a second. Finger off the trigger. So I don't know if you can see, but all your shots are going left. Normally what that means for a right-handed shooter is that when you're pressing the trigger, you're actually pushing sideways. Try to focus on just pressing straight to the rear.
Okay.
It'll keep your front sight more stable. Okay. Try again. Okay, good. Good. Move out around. See, I walk back. What'd you think of that one?
No recoil yet.
Yeah, but there's also no power to it either, so it's not a super effective gun for defense, you know. So pros and cons.
Gotcha.
But hit it hard. Yep, you hear it click. Good. Now at this point, you're going to keep your finger off the trigger, pull back hard, point in a safe direction. Let go. Okay. So just a note on that. When you're pulling the slide back, just let go. You went like this.
Okay.
Let go, because that spring has the tension to drive it home. It's designed specifically for that. Okay. All right. So let's get our good firing grip.
Alrighty.
Finger off the trigger. Make your L come in. Good. Now, this is a 9mm pistol. It's going to have a little bit more recoil. Right now, that laser should be on. There you go.
Okay.
All right. So for the camera, for people at home watching, Brittany wanted to try out a laser. So we put the Viridian X5L on there with green laser. So the green laser is going to give us the best shot of actually being able to see it in broad daylight like we have right now. So she's going to see the realities of shooting with a laser. So feel free to go ahead.
All right.
Whenever you're ready. Yep.
Laser.
And again, with the trigger, just slow, smooth press to the rear. Good. Stop for a second real quick. All right, let's turn the laser off and just try shooting with just the sights so you can see the difference.
Okay.
She's drilling the bullseye, guys, at about 15 yards. She's got a group about that big. All right. So what were your thoughts in terms of the laser with and without?
Trying to line it up with the, also before with using the laser light, I was also still trying to line it up.
Okay.
But personally, I just feel like the light kind of moves, and I just felt like, for me, it seemed better not using the laser.
So, last night we went over like safety and pros and cons of things, and I tried to not input my bias on her. But I agree. Lasers have their place, but lasers tend to slow people down, particularly untrained shooters, because they focus on getting it just right.
Perfect,
right.
Yeah, and it takes more time, yeah.
Yep. So, but either way, without the laser, she's hitting the target. I mean, she probably shot an 8-inch group there, so it's pretty good accuracy for someone who's a relatively new shooter. What do you think of the gun? How'd it feel?
Felt pretty good to me. The recoil, of course, was a little bit more than the other one, but it still wasn't that bad.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. Next up is the Gen 5 Glock 19. Whenever you're ready. Nice high grip.
And this is just a light, right?
It's just a light, yep. Perfect. Alright, so you jerk the trigger, slow, smooth press. Okay, keep going. There you go. Good. Feel the difference when you start letting it out slow and feel that response. Alright, take a break for a second. Finger off the trigger. Alright, so every time you're missing low left. So again, it's that your trigger input. So slow, smooth to the rear. Okay. Alright, you're out of rounds.
Yep.
So still finger off the trigger. Okay. What'd you think of that one?
A little more powerful.
Like in terms of recoil, it felt a little bit more?
Yeah, but definitely the technique you told me about keeping the finger back. But I don't know if my arm, my wrist is like going. Just trying to keep my wrist like a tighter grip.
Mm-hmm.
So that my arm, like when you shoot, it doesn't move as much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It takes time to learn how to manage that recoil for sure. And off camera, what she was referring to is I was kind of talking to her about not slapping the trigger and kind of slowly pressing it, slowly releasing it. So that's what she was referring to. So that's the Glock 19 Gen 5, one of the most popular guns in America, for sure. So a little bit more recoil though than the mechanic, which makes sense that she was just shooting because that's a bigger, heavier gun. This one's a little bit smaller. So we'll try something else next.
Yep. All right, so now it's already loaded.
Yep.
And anything different as far as shooting this?
Yeah, so the trigger is going to be longer. Remember when you pull it? Like we talked about last night. So it's being longer. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. The grip's going to be a little bit different. So go ahead and take your grip. And again, with your right hand, you want to be up high. There you go. Now your left hand,
one is just...
you're going to want to be like that. Yep. And for those at home that are new as well, the reason that is we don't want any finger parts out here in front of the cylinder because they could get burned. So, yep. Otherwise, you're good to go whenever you're ready. Now the trigger press becomes more important on this gun because it's longer and slower, so just concentrate on pulling straight to the rear. Good. All right, now you're leaning back a little bit. Lean forward into it. There you go. All right, so you're out of rounds. What are your thoughts on that? Initial thoughts?
I don't know what I was doing wrong on that.
It's just a trigger press. That's all you're doing. It's just harder. It's harder to learn and harder to master than it is, you know, a striker-fired gun. How's the recoil?
It wasn't that bad.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's for those that don't know at home. This is a full-size all-steel Smith & Wesson Model 10 with Hogue grips on there. So yeah, the recoil shouldn't really be anything. It's an all-steel heavy gun. So we'll try a different one next. Now everything's the same on this one. Same ammo. The trigger pull is going to feel pretty similar.
Yeah. What do you pull this back for?
It's like we talked about last night. You know, so if you pull the hammer back, it's going to be easier to fire. We'll test that out here in a second and show you. But a lot of times you don't want to practice that way, one man's opinion, simply because in a gunfight, very rarely does that ever happen. People just kind of pull the trigger. So getting used to that double action pull is important. So this one, again, same round, but it's lighter, so it'll probably feel different when you shoot it. So can you actually step forward a little bit so you can come into camera? There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So get your nice high grip out in there with your right hand. Yep, perfect. Yep, and there you go. Good. Yep. Whenever you're ready. And again, the trigger is going to be long like that last one. So it's just concentrate on slowly pressing it to the rear and the front sight staying on target. Good. All right, now stop for a second. Pull the hammer back just to try it. Now it's going to be really light on the pull, so finger off the trigger. So whenever you're on target, you're just going to touch that trigger and it's going to go bang, okay? All right, so get on target. And then... See the difference?
Yep. But I'll have to pull that back every time.
If you want it to have that trigger pull, you have to, yes.
Gotcha.
Good. Out of round.
Yep.
That was good. Even on that last one, you're holding it steady and you're not flinching when firing. A lot of new shooters do that. A lot of experienced shooters do that. So good sign. You're doing very well. Although you may be getting frustrated not hitting, you're doing well. Trust me. How do you feel?
I feel good.
All right. So you're just gonna put that dot on the target. Whenever you're ready to fire, you're gonna take your thumb, push down. Yep. And now whenever you're ready. All right, stop for a second. How do you feel like shooting that versus the Glock 19?
I like this one better.
You like it better. Now, why? Talk to me.
Because I just feel like I have more control. It's not as much recoil. I don't know, maybe just the way I'm holding it, I just feel like I have more control. Yep,
and a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people question why you would have like a pistol caliber carbine or pistol brace in this case, finger off the trigger. But these do give you an advantage. Even trained, very proficient pistol shooters will generally be able to get on target and stay on target faster with one of these versus a pistol. So I wanted to have her fire the Glock 19 first, then the same gun that takes the same mags, just in a different configuration. So feel free to keep going. Try a small one maybe if you want, or like go back and forth, whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah. This too, just making sure I get my stance right and not lean my head.
Exactly. Let me show you real quick. Ready? So again, you're gonna want to be like that. So up a little bit more, and then on. So what you're doing, you're kind of like this. Okay. Good.
Am I out?
Okay, I don't know. Yep, you're out of rounds. So again, what did you think of that one?
Good. Like this one. Definitely like this one.
Gotcha. For those at home, this is the Cmm G-Guard 9mm. This is one of the first ones that came out, so it's got, I think, an 8-inch barrel. But cool, it's very easy, right? With the dot, you don't have to worry about the sights. You just put the dot on and squeeze. The next gun up is going to be the Sig P210. This is the Legion version, but I kind of wanted to show her and give her an option of a double action, single action pull. So like we talked about yesterday, the first pull is going to be kind of a long pull like the Revolvers. Then after that, it's going to be shorter like the other guns, okay?
Okay.
All right, so whenever you're ready, good high grip. Yeah, perfect. And again, pushing a little bit with this hand, pulling a little bit with that hand, and focus on that front sight, and whenever you're ready. That's going to be shorter. Focus on that press, nice and smooth. All right, stop for a second. Get your grip right. Yeah, camera. There you go. Good. Just be careful you don't point the gun at anything when you do that. grip rate?
Ooh, my hands are sweaty.
Yep. Probably out of round. Yep, out of round. So what'd you think of that one?
I like it. I actually like it when you don't have to press back all the way.
So you like everything but the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. But the first one, what'd you think about that? Like,
you mean like the recoil?
no, the first trigger press that you had to do that was longer.
It was longer. I think
Yeah.
I was anticipating
You were.
when the shot was gonna be made. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed, and you guys may have noticed at home as well, is that with this gun and the double action pull where it starts up front, she had to adjust her grip to reach it because her hands are small. So again, that's one reason why it's important to try different guns out. And then after that, she readjusted her grip because in single action mode, the trigger was back further.
Yeah.
So again, try the guns first if you can, right?
Most definitely.
Since a lot of people tell, especially females, they should get a small, cute gun, we brought out the Glock 43. So again, chambered in 9mm, just like the Glock 19, the Sig P210 we just shot, and the Canic. So same caliber, but this one's going to only have 6+1 in it. I wanted to have Brittany here load this one on camera to kind of show the manipulation of the gun rather than me load it for her. We went over it a little bit yesterday, but go ahead and give it a whirl. Most important thing is just keep your finger out of the trigger while we're doing this.
And then it's up.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Did you think it was hard to load?
Nope.
Okay. Fair enough. All right.
Very simple.
Whenever you're ready. Good firing grip. And with this one, so for those at home, this has XS big dot sights on it. So what you're going to do with this on the sights, Brittany, it's a little bit different. Just put that dot on top of that white line and then the target behind it, okay? There's no V, it's a little bit, there you go. Yep. Whenever you're ready, slow, smooth press to the rear, and there you go. There you go. All right, you're out of rounds.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on that one? Finger out of the trigger guard?
Pretty smooth. I
How's-
like it. I think for me, I'm like really just concentrating on making sure that I'm like holding the trigger back, keeping my grip in the right manner, and just trying to focus on everything.
Yeah, no, it's a lot to take in. The first, you know, because everything we went over last night, putting it in practically
exactly.
is hard.
And this was a little bit different with, like you said, lining up.
What'd you think of those sights?
It wasn't bad. I think I like the V.
You like the other ones? Okay, so she's talking about like all my other ones are like a 3-dot or single dot, but with a U-notch rear. Okay, so you like the other ones better. What'd you think of the recoil on that versus like a Glock 19?
Seemed very similar to me.
Okay. Some people think that
I've just shot. I'm just can't remember, but
okay. Some people think with the smaller guns that it feels a little bit sharper.
Sharper meaning
like the impulse.
recoil. Yeah.
Yay or nay? Don't remember.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Can't tell.
Now, I take a lot of people out here shooting, and I was just telling Brittany off camera, she's doing really, really well for a new shooter. So, honestly, a lot of new shooters would have an extremely difficult time hitting with this gun, in my experience. Again, we're at 15 yards, about a 10-inch plate. So, she's doing real well. So, anyway, we'll try a new one. All right, next gun up is the Ruger LCP. This is the second gen of the first gen. So it's not the LCP2, but it's the current production one. Again, a small gun. A lot of people recommend for young female shooters. So we'll see how Brittany does.
I'll let it go.
Did well. All right. So whenever you're ready, same firing grip. The trigger is going to feel a little bit longer than some of the other ones, but just focus on keeping that front sight on target.
This one has a lot more kickback.
All right, so what she just said, I don't know if you guys can hear it with the microphone. She said this one has a lot more kickback to me.
And it's so small. It's almost like it's too small.
Alright, malfunction. So, there for you. But that's a double feed, so that's kind of like a bad malfunction. It's one you don't want to have. And so last night I was actually having to practice locking the slide back, and that's why you have to do it, because in order to clear that malfunction, it's kind of how you got to do it. So, something to keep in mind. Another malfunction, and that's it. That's just the last round. So, what do we think?
I felt like I had to keep readjusting my grip.
Okay. Trigger, how'd you feel?
Trigger was pretty much just like the other ones with the slow pullback.
The double action.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just so small. I just felt like because the recoil kickback was to me a lot bigger, it just seemed like it readjusted my hand. So.
Okay. Fair enough. There you go. Let's move on. Next up is the Smith & Wesson 380 Shield EZ. I just did a review of this one for those that don't know, but firing the same exact 380 as the LCP before. Go ahead. Cool. Good. Whenever you're ready.
You gotta once you squeeze tight. That's like that extra safety.
Yep. So it has a grip safety, so that's what she's referring to. So you have to have a good firing grip for it to fire. Slow, smooth, press that trigger. Got it around.
Yeah.
What did you think of that one?
Exactly what you said. If I try to push the trigger too fast, then I'm pretty much off target.
Yep. How was the recoil?
It wasn't that bad.
All right.
I like having a little bit of a regular size gun versus a smaller one.
Why?
Just because of I feel like my grip, like I have more control of the gun.
Okay. Yep. I don't disagree with that. You know, for those that watch the channel know, I just did a review of it. I kind of said the same thing along those lines. But yeah, did you feel like it was easy to shoot, hard to shoot?
Easy.
Okay. Cool.
I would feel comfortable. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Next up is a CZ Scorpion Evo. This one's an SBR, and we of course have the Bauer suppressor on there. Brittany's holding the suppressor. We're not going to do that. We're going to hold the grip because the suppressor is going to get really, really hot. So again, we have a Trijicon RMR on there. So wherever you see that dot, just put it on the target, and whenever you're ready to go, go for it. All right, stop for a second. So just try like going this target, that target, this target, that target. All right, lean forward. There you go. There you go.
It's a heavier gun.
And that's the suppressor on the end. There you go. What'd you think about that? Finger off the trigger.
Pretty good. It's just heavier.
All right. We'll take the can off here so she can feel that as well. I just wanted to get the feel of having a suppressor on there. It's very soft, isn't it? Recoils. So that's definitely one of the advantages.
Recoil, yeah.
Right, stop for a second. Finger off the trigger. All right, now on the bigger target there, fire as fast as you can fire while still keeping the rounds on target. So whatever you feel like that is. Like somebody's running at you and you're trying to stop them. What do you think?
Pretty cool.
It's easy though, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
much
it
easier
is,
than like a
isn't it?
pistol.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so put it on safe. So next up we have this BCM. This is a pistol, 11.5-inch barrel with the Colt Hammer Forged BCM barrel. and a 1-to-4 Trijicon AccuPower on there. SBA3 adjustable brace. I was explaining to Brittany that this is technically a pistol, and we're not going to fire on the steel here because she's going to go. It would go right through it at this point. They're pistol caliber steel targets we have here. So we've got some paper off to the right, and we're going to engage that whenever you are ready.
All right, and so where am I holding?
Okay. So really wherever you want. If it's comfortable here, well, you're not going to want that, yeah, like that. Or if you want your fingers to be in between there, some people think that's comfortable. Whatever is comfortable to you, that's where you want to be, and you want your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Get your good firing stance. There you go. We're going to do that. There you go. And whenever you're ready, you got to put your safety on fire first. Press it down. Yep. Finger off the trigger, safety on. All right, what do you think about that?
A little bit more kickback.
A little bit more kick, she said.
Not too much.
Right.
Not too much.
Cool. All right, guys, next up, this is a Palmetto State Armory. This is their Nitride Freedom build. It's a mid-length AR-15 16-inch barrel. This is an example. I was telling Brittany, it's relatively affordable. You can get out there. These are pretty much sub $600, finger off the trigger. And they're reasonably reliable, good guns to use if you're on a budget, so go ahead and load it. This time we taught her off camera how to lock the bolt back, so we're just going to hit this button. Yep, and you're ready to rock and roll. When you get on target, flip your safety off and go for it. Safety on. What'd you think about that?
A lot of power, but seems like it's hard.
Yeah,
to hit targets.
Yeah, you hit a 3-inch group, so I mean you're like that. So pretty easy to hit with, right?
Yeah.
Just a little
Once
bit heavier.
You line it up, it's just, yep, that's the thing. It's just heavier.
So, all right, cool.
Alrighty.
Let's move on. So next up, guys, we have a Mossberg 590A1. People told Brittany she should have a shotgun.
Shotgun. I don't know about that.
So this one actually here, just to kind of make a point, she was kind of manipulating it off camera. This has the Magpul SGA stock on it, which is a 12-inch length of pole, which is very short for a shotgun. But what you're going to see is with her, how tall are you?
5'4".
Okay. With her, even the length of that might be a little bit much, but we'll give it a whirl. We'll see how it works here. We do have buckshot in there. Reason being that if you're going to use it for defense, it's what we're going to use. So if we have some Freedom Munitions buckshot in there. Whenever you're ready, Brittany, just go ahead and chamber around. You're going to hit that button. Yep. Run it back, run it forward. Cool. And take up your good firing grip, making sure you're leaning forward on this one. And you're going to push the safety forward when you're ready to fire. And yep, you definitely want to make sure it's in your shoulder. Okay. Whenever you're ready. What'd you say?
A lot of kickback that I wasn't ready for.
Okay. So that's your first impression, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is good to capture on camera. I did not tell her it was going to be terrible. So, like, did you find it uncomfortable, painful?
Uncomfortable.
Okay. Do you want to shoot it anymore or no?
Not really.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough. But that's good. And this is
At least I got the feel.
Okay. This is a 590A1, guys. This is a heavy walled, heavy barreled shotgun. It's a lot of weight behind it, and it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, me personally, I think a lot of guys have a hard time with shotguns. So for someone to recommend that to a new shooter, particularly a 5'4" female,
yeah,
maybe not the right answer.
Not at all.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do now is, again, we have targets down range, about 15 yards. I have 5 rounds loaded in this mag. We're going to have 5 rounds loaded in an AR-15 and then in the Cmm G-Guard. And we're going to time Brittany trying to get as many on target as she can, as fast as possible, but staying on target because, like we talked about yesterday, only hits count. Let me go grab my shot timer. I just realized I didn't have it. I'll be right back. Somebody's trying to kill you. check it out. 14.9 seconds. All right, guys, this is the target right here. Again, she got her first 4 hits, a little bit lower than left, likely due to trigger press. The last one we missed just off the target.
Yeah.
And it was 14.9 seconds. So it's not bad. That's not bad. Like I was telling Brittany, she's doing much, much better than most people we take out here who are new shooters. But we're going to try it with a couple different guns and see how we can do. All right, guys, same drill, this time with the Cmm G. So we're going to see how this compares to the pistol and 380. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, whenever it beeps, you got to push it on fire because it's on safe right now. All right, whenever you're ready. All right, 10.52. Let's go check the groups out. All right, we're downrange, same exact target, same exact distance. It may be hard for you guys to tell, but that's 5 shots there in about a 2-inch pattern. And then we did it in 10.9 seconds versus 14.9. What'd you think, Brittany?
A lot easier, more accurate to shoot.
Yep. So just kind of demonstrating here on time what it can do with, you know, a pistol caliber carbine, and that's shooting 9mm versus the 380 with the shield as well. So that's something to consider. So we got one more test to go and see how we can do with the AR. All right, guys, same thing, same distance. This time we're just shooting paper, of course, so that way we don't blow through the shoot steel targets. So this one here, 223 mid-length, Palmetto State Armory. No red dot though, so she's shooting iron sights. And whenever you're ready, Brittany, get in position and we will start. And you gotta put it on fire, remember? Are you ready? All right, as soon as you hear the beep. All right, 14.4 seconds. Let's check the target out. All right, so with the AR-15, she was shooting a little bit low for whatever reason, but still, if that's, of course, your high thoracic cavity, those are all good hits there. Probably a 4-inch group, 1440, so she shot that just as fast, or actually a little bit faster than she did with the M&P 380 Easy.
380, yeah.
So, and this is obviously a much, much, much more powerful round. What'd you think of it? Kind of trying to shoot each?
With the bigger, I just felt like with shooting faster, just because I felt like I have better control.
Okay.
Over just a regular pistol.
Right,
But,
and one thing I noticed too, with her shooting and just picking stuff up with the red dot, she's much faster with that. So with the iron sights here, it's kind of like a pistol. You're shooting iron sights the same way. Obviously, you could put a red dot on this very easily.
yeah.
But I just wanted to show her sort of a more economical option because, of course, red dots cost money, right? So there's no doubt, though, that you can still do a good job at defending yourself with an iron-sighted AR-15 for sure, as we've seen here. So anything you want to add on that?
Nope.
Okay, that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to get Brittany's thoughts on some of the different guns that we tried. So what'd you think overall?
Overall, of course, the Cmm G-Guard was my fave.
That's the one she liked.
Definitely don't want a shotgun.
That much we learned.
We have learned that. The Revolvers was also another one that I think I like the feel for.
Okay.
Just the techniques and learning the proper techniques and holding a gun and positioning was really good for me to learn and to know with purchasing my first gun.
Okay. And one thing that I think is always important to take away is like she shot like the Glock 19 very well with the Ruger LCP. She had a harder time with it. That was the small 380.
Yes.
Same thing with the smaller revolver. I think you only hit 2 out of 5 versus the larger one.
Larger one, yes.
So but for newer shooters, especially, that extra weight, that extra size, the extra sight radius, all of that stuff matters. It matters for experienced shooters too. It matters for me. But especially for folks that are really trying to learn. And out here we had, like I was telling her, generally speaking, we had a stress-free environment. I brought that timer out just to kind of show her. And
yes.
And I was like, timers scare people. Imagine what guys with guns will do to you, right?
Yes.
So it makes a difference.
So yes.
So it's just a simple way to introduce stress to kind of show you that sometimes you need to be able to speed up, but still use those skills that you used when you learned rather when you were going slow. So yeah, she liked the Cmm G-Guard. Her time with the AR-15 was still pretty good too.
Yeah.
A lot more powerful. So like we
Yes.
talked about, which of course, if you're trying to stop someone who's trying to hurt you is important, right? But you can't just, like she was saying off camera, she's like, oh, well, that would fit in a glove box. Well, check your state laws first if you're going to do that. But point is, you can't stick an AR-15 in your glove box,
No,
right?
you can't.
So it's just all these different factors to consider as to what's right for you. And one thing I would tell Brittany, and I would tell anybody out there as well, is that if you're looking to purchase your first gun, of course, that's your first gun. It doesn't have to be your last gun, though.
No.
So if you want one for one reason and another for another reason, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's everything right with that, in my opinion. So anything else?
Just remember to keep your finger off the trigger.
This is true. It's very important, in all seriousness. I said that to her last night. We went over the 4 safety rules, and I said, without question, that is the #1 one, and it's probably 5 times more important than the others. Not that the others aren't more important, it's just that's the one people mess up the most. And that's where accidents tend to really happen. So that's pretty much it. Thanks to Brittany for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.
And agreeing
For
to be
taking
on
the
camera,
time.
because a lot of people don't want to be on camera. But it was good. I think a lot of people who are interested in picking up their first gun can learn and watch her and see what happened. And you don't have to be afraid. The guns aren't going to hurt you. And if you don't have the knowledge, seek out someone that you think has knowledge and try to learn from them. Most people in the gun community, in my experience, are very willing to help. A lot of them will give wrong information, but that's okay. They're still trying their best. So seek somebody out that might know a little bit more than you and just keep progressing, is my advice. So that's it. We will wrap the video up there. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody out there for watching, subscribing. If you're not subscribed, hit that video. And
Subscribe.
exactly. And we'll see you in the next video. Hold on real quick. So you understand? What you're going to want is, when that happens, you want to be stable. So you see how you need to maybe be a little bit more forward?
How do you get it back?
What do you mean?
Back to position.
Okay, so you can either push down on the slide block. Yep.
Gotcha.
There you go.